My name is Archibald Chesterfield III. I'm a YouTube entertainer and celebrity, and I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Hello, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the ArchieLuxury channel, the Paul Pluta channel, and today I'm discussing how to get a good price on a wristwatch. And this request came in here, Archie, I followed this up with a question but never got a video. I had asked in a separate email your thoughts on a Panerai chronograph versus other sports watches. Search your email and I'm sure you'll find it. I was not happy and stopped watching for some time. If you make amends, great. I'll give it a shot. Here is my new question. Please don't use my name. Archie, please walk us through the process of buying a used watch. Let's say you were going let's say you were looking at a two-tone bluesy Submariner on Chrono 24. What would you offer in comparison to the asking price? How to validate authenticity and original parts, negotiation tactics, shipping, etc., along with any other tips. I have seen some bluesies on Chrono 24, jewelers on Time, and a local shop. Do a good one, Archie. Please shout out to all the fuckheads in New Mexico, USA. Okay, so let's have a look at this here. How to get a good price. So you're looking for a two-tone bluesy. You've jumped onto Chrono 24 and you've seen a few for sale there. So what do you do? Now look, I honestly would say this. Firstly, you got to compare apples to apples. You've got to really decide, okay, you've decided you want to get a bluesy Submariner. Great choice. You got to decide, did you want the pre-ceramic? That's the 16613. Did you want the ceramic? The 116613. And then there's a few variations. There was the Smurf version of the blue, and then they've gone back to the traditional blue. And in the pre-ceramic versions, there's Hull's case, and there's also the question of, on the clasp, the newer ones had gold line in the middle of the clasp, the bracelet clasp. So you've got to compare apples with apples. Now, once you've done that, you can look around and see what is a fair price. Now, my honest opinion is the safest way to buy this watch would be to go to a big bricks and mortar type dealer. And let's have a look at a few different ways to handle this. How would you get a good price? You've mentioned Jewelers on Time has one. Okay, and a local shop. Okay. I would say, look, what you've got to do is, when you get into negotiation stage, you've got to be prepared to buy it if it's right. Now, do your homework on Chrono 24, and I would pick up the phone if you wanted to ring Jewelers on Time. Hey, it's Archie here. I see you got a couple of bluesies. What's the best deal you can do? That's what I would say. What is the best deal? I'm really keen to buy now. So you're telling them that you're not just fucking tire kicking. You're ready to pull the trigger if the price is right. And see what they can do for you. Now, the worst thing I find, because I have sold a few things, is when people text you and they say, oh, would you accept X dollars? And I think if you put lowball offers in, you've got to be prepared for a bit of abuse to come back to you, because you have the right to offer me anything for anything I'm selling. I've got the right to tell you to get fucked. So you really should handle this in a good way. That's what my opinion is. I think you got to handle this professionally. So sometimes, I got to be completely honest with you. When you're hunting down a deal, you got to see what's on offer. And I'll give you a bit of an example, okay? I was offered my IWC Ingenua 3227-01. Okay. It belongs to a friend of mine, and he offered it to me. I had a look on the net, I had a look at Chrono, and yes, there is one that is cheaper in Japan. It's $800 cheaper. However, it's got a short bracelet, so it's not going to fucking fit me. I don't think it had box and papers. It had a bit of a scratch on the bezel. And this piece here had a recent service by IWC. It doesn't get much better than that. Now, in my opinion, those sort of things there, if you're looking at buying it to make money, maybe that's the wrong approach, but in my opinion, that's probably a nice, honest piece to get. It's a good piece to have there. So I don't think the cheapest is always the best. If you've got to get links, it doesn't have a box or papers. These things all cost money. So you could very easily, by the time you added on these things, you could easily find that it's actually more expensive than the better one. Now, the best thing to do is for a commodity like a two-tone bluesy, I would get in touch with a you got to do your homework, find out what price you're prepared to pay, and then I would ring Jewellers on Time and say, hey, I'm really keen on a two-tone Submariner, bluesy Submariner. I see you've got one. What's the best deal you can do? He'll give you a price. And you can sort of, from that point there, you could then have a counter offer and say, oh, look, that's a little bit dear. I've seen a little bit of other ones that are a little bit cheaper. Similar condition. You could argue it that way. That's being honest. I mean, don't try and lie to these guys, because they know what the competitors are selling. I remember years ago, I had my gold Submariner on the market, and I had someone came to me and said, oh, I've seen one for sale. I'm really keen in your sub. Okay, cool. He goes to me, oh, your price is a bit high. I've seen one for £8,500. I said, send me the link. Let me have a look. And it had the wrong fucking bracelet. It had a solid gold oyster perpetual. It had an oyster bracelet, like off a, the oyster bracelet would come off any number of Rolex solid gold pieces, but it was the wrong fucking bracelet for a Submariner, because Submariner has that dive clasp. And I said to him, hey, hang on a minute, we're not comparing apples with apples, it's the wrong fucking bracelet, which on that type of watch is a big part of the value. The look of it is the bracelet. I said, you can't tell me my price is so expensive when this one you're comparing it to is so fucking flawed. I said, I don't mind if I'm a bit dear. You show me one and we'll bounce off. But when you're so far off the ballpark, what the fuck? You know, how do I respond to that when it is so inferior? He's just a fuckhead. So what you got to do is you've got to be fair, and if you're keen and ready to buy, you say to them, look, what can you do? I'd like a little bit more. But you don't go in there and do that unless you're ready to pull the trigger, okay? If you're not ready to pull the trigger, don't tire kick. If you're ready to pull the trigger, ring them up and say, hey, I would buy it at this. You counter offer, but I would personally I would be really a bricks and mortar dealer, you got to pay a bit more. You're going to have to pay a bit more. And it's less risk and reward, that kind of pyramid there. So that's how you'd handle it. And if the dealer can come into it, see, sometimes when I'm buying things, I'll ring up. I buy a lot of things from Vintage Watch Co. And I say, actually, before I got the yellow gold world time, I was considering going down a bit in watches and getting a two-tone bluesy myself. And I rang him and said, I see you got a few two-tone bluesies. I want a really nice one. I said, I see you got 2 for sale. Can we do anything? He goes, look, the really nice one, it's a consignment piece. He's after really top money. I don't think it's for you. Fair enough. He didn't fucking waste my time. He told me the honest answer. The other one, he said, look, the one I've got is a little bit scruffy for you because I know how fussy you are. It's cheap, but it's scruffy. So I immediately said, look, that's okay. I'll look at something else. Because I wanted a certain thing. So I tend to be honest with the dealers, and that's the best way to do it. If you're going to buy from a bricks and mortar dealer, you're going to have to pay more at times. That is the risk and reward there. So I honestly would say to you, if this is a first kind of purchase, you know, you're better off to get it from a dealer, a top dealer. And Kenny Nguyen, Jewelers on Time, is top notch. Vintage Watch Co. in Australia, top notch. There's a number of really good dealers. There's heaps of good dealers, and generally speaking, you're going to pay more than buying it from an individual. I would say a business, an honest trader, is less likely to try and fleece you than someone who's flicking it. Okay, so that's my honest opinion. How to validate authenticity and original parts? Look, you've just got to know these things. I mean, without pulling the watch apart, you really can't tell. But by going to a good dealer, that's the best way of ensuring that, because he's less likely to try and sell a dog. He won't buy the dog when it comes in. He won't touch it if it's really fucked. Okay? And that's the honest truth. So your best way for you, if you're asking that sort of question, buy it from a bricks and mortar dealer. That's your best way. That doesn't mean you can't negotiate. Of course you can negotiate, but you can't expect the absolute cheapest deal. He needs to make money, and that money he makes is part of the validation, it's part of the assurance that it's all correct and original. So I personally would go in and say, look, I'm really interested in your 16613. Can we do anything? That's the first thing. Can you do anything for me? I'm ready to buy. I got cash. So that way he knows he's not going to lose some money in credit card or however you want to pay. Look, I'm going to put it on Visa. Okay, so he can work out, maybe he gets a better rate on Visa than Amex and Diners Club. Things like that there. And you say, look, what can you do? I'm really keen. Ask him. He comes back with a price. Now, if there are comparable ones that are a lot cheaper, you could say, oh, there's a few that are a little bit cheaper there. And this is not to be a prick. He could say, this is just trying to be honest with him. If you're going to try and fool him, he's not going to be fooled, because I had some asshole, some fucking cunt who wanted to buy my sub, and he sends me a price of one that's got the wrong fucking bracelet. I said, we're not comparing apples with apples. If you were so fucking stupid, you think I'm not going to pick up the bracelets wrong? And that's, at the end of the day, the way you've asked this question here, you definitely buy it from a bricks and mortar. That's the best assurance you can get there. That's the way to do it. Just be honest. Hey, I'm interested. Your price is a little bit high. I've seen some other ones, but don't bullshit that line. Only use that line if he is a little bit more expensive, and if you're ready to pull the trigger. There's no point tire kicking. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, I'll match it, and oh, I'll think about it. What the? You sound like a fucking moron when people do that. Why get all that energy lost if you're just going to, oh, I'll think about it? What the fuck? There's nothing worse than these morons who, they just, I don't know, people are fucking stupid. So, my opinion there is your best thing to do is to get assurance that you're buying the right thing. Bricks and mortar store. Okay, bricks and mortar. Good dealer who's recommended. That's paramount. Your best line is to say, I'm looking for a two-tone sub. I see you've got one. What is the best deal? Throw the ball in his court. He'll then come back with you. He'll let you know whether he can do something or he can't do something. If he comes back with an offer, you say, oh, you could then say, hey, it's a little bit more. We're in the ballpark. Can we do anything? And who knows? He may be able to. He may not be able to. So I would realistically, that's the best way to do it. But don't waste their time if you're just tire kicking. If you're just kicking a ball around, I don't think that's a good thing to do. It's uncool. It's uncool unless you're ready to pull the trigger. But the best thing is to buy from a legitimate bricks and mortar dealer. That is the best thing. I always say buy second hand. I didn't say you have to buy the absolute fucking cheapest on Craigslist, did I? I said buy the best you can. Buy the best you can. And that's your best way to get a quality deal. At the end of the day, don't worry about buying the absolute cheapest. You want to buy a really nice example in good condition. That's more important than getting the absolute cheapest. The cheapest things in life often aren't the best. I'm ArchieLuxury. I hope this has helped. Thank you for letting me know. I mean, this guy didn't let me know I forgot to do a review. I mean, I get so many fucking emails coming in every week. Sometimes I miss one. He thought I was supposed to do this. He paid me money. I don't know. Sometimes you got to remind me sometimes. So, hey, that's how it goes. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you fuckers think of that.
We specialize in the repair of Rolex and Patek Philippe watches. We've been doing the same thing for more than 25 years. We have Rolex technicians certified by Rolex who actually used to work for the company for many years, like if we're doing the work at the factory. We completely disassemble the watch and we put it to work like brand new condition. When you get a pre-owned watch, it's like if you're getting a brand new unit. The only difference is the money.